Alright, this one's gonna be a doozy. Voidforge Doublestrike Slayer, initial first looks. Let's go. So real quick, I'm gonna just go over the very basics of what this build is, and then I'm gonna pop in a map, kind of show where this is at. Currently, I'm level 74. I've just gotten to maps. I've just gotten kind of what my end game setup would be. Pretty much all the rares. Could use some upgrades though. But yeah, it's a double strike build. Vaal Doublestrike with a Voidforge. And with a weapon swap to a Quill Rain with Puncture in it to apply a quick bleed that lasts almost 20 seconds on bosses when I need that extra boost of flat physical damage. But basically, it's from what I've seen so far, it's a Vaal Doublestrike build. Essentially, the clones do most of the mapping for me. I've got the Soul Catcher Flask for that, but yeah, it's better to show it. This one is very interesting. The reason I'm using Voidforge is basically just because I got one. And I said, what would be the most interesting way to use it? And this is basically what I came up with. But it might actually end up pretty decent. We'll see. It's been fun to play. It's a really silly build. You can see like right away, the clones just kind of cruise around and pop everything for me. And I think the attack speed, move speed, at least the move speed from my Dyed Bellow, whenever I use a war cry, might actually be double dipping into them. I can't tell if they're getting the move speed buff because it does give it to nearby allies. I'm not sure if they count as allies or what the deal is with that. Alright, but here's the boss setup. I swap, I puncture, I swap back, I pop my boys, and we take down the boss. Now, I think I'm missing like quite a lot of DPS, a lot from like gems and just gear upgrades, but I mean the damage is solid. Obviously I'm using a 6-link Voidforge, so could definitely still use some improvement for sure, but the build's functional. It's fun to play. I mean, I guess that's the most important part, but this might actually be able to go somewhere. I don't know. We're gonna find out. But yeah, so more specific stuff. I've got a 2-socket Tomb Fist that I just bought. This is mostly just for the Intimidate on hit. And then just the stats. I've got the Dyed Bellow that I mentioned. I actually managed to grab one with a double strike enchant. Somebody just happened to be selling one. I think that there's like a double damage enchant that's better. But I mean, it was on the specific unique helmet I was using. Obviously Comb's Heart. Obviously Voidforge. The weapon swap I mentioned. And then everything else is pretty much just rares with some like life res, wed, flat fizz, wherever you can get that. I've also got a worm flask, which is half life flask, half leech flask. So if I pop it and just attack really quick, I can just kill them right away with the ancestral call, and that gives me a lot of leech thanks to the Slayer over leech stuff, which seems to be working pretty well. But then the basic tree idea is I've got Vaal Pact because I'm a Slayer. I'm getting life, some fizz damage, some two-handed whatever. Blood magic, since I am not running any auras, which is because I'm actually running elemental equilibrium, since this picks a random element each time. So as long as it doesn't pick the same element twice in a row, I get a nice DPS boost, as long as I don't have any other flat increases. So if you look at my tooltip on my double strike, there actually isn't one. It shows no tooltip because the only damage I'm getting is the flat physical damage I have all over the place getting added into the Voidforge 300% as a random. It ends up being like a 25% resist debuff on average, so it works really well. I've got RT, don't want to miss. I could have tried LE Overload, but I think this setup works a little bit better overall. Skill effect duration for both the Vaal double strikes and for the bleed on the weapon swap. And then eventually, as I get some more levels, I'm going to be making my way up here and getting acrobatics and phase acrobatics, so it should be pretty tanky. It should be able to pass 8k life very easily. And I mean, so far so good. It's fun. Is it worth the cost? I don't know. We're going to have to find out, I guess, but I'm enjoying it. And I think that's a wrap on the initial showcasing. If you have any questions about this setup or comments or whatever else, make sure leave them down below. Thanks guys for watching. and I'll see y'all in the next video. Later.